going on, everybody? We're back out in the garden today, and we are here with our rhubarb, and we're going to be giving you some tips and tricks to taking your rhubarb to the next level. Now, rhubarb is a fairly hands-off crop to grow, and a lot of people write in just kind of wanting some tips to make it better. Rhubarb at face value, it grows itself. But if you want to not only increase your yields, have healthier, stronger plants, and larger harvests, follow along with some of these tips. I guarantee you they're gonna help. Let's go. The first thing that you can do to increase the overall health and vigor and production of your rhubarb plant is by fertilizing. We've got a huge tub of Trifecta Plus here. Got a tub of it because we use it on everything. And we will sprinkle around the base in early season some Trifecta, or you could use just any all-purpose fertilizer that has lots of nitrogen. And that is going to just basically supercharge the rhubarb plant. I know you're probably thinking, fertilizer seems like such a basic tip, why are you adding that in here? And it's because you'd be shocked at how often I felt like rhubarb was kind of a self-sufficient plant that didn't really need my help to grow well. And it is true, it's a pretty self-sufficient plant. It actually, believe it or not, has roots that extend several feet out and several feet down. I mean, below this bed, we have lots of like spring crops here on the surface, but down deep down, we have roots that are guaranteed going down into the soil below this raised bed, out and hitting this boundary, hitting that boundary. I bet you there's roots, this whole thing is probably solid roots. And that is why it's more self-sufficient than most plants, because it has such an aggressive root system that allows it to mine minerals and nutrients from all over the soil. But if you are to give it some extra fertilizer, that is where you can be rewarded handsomely for it, because it is such an aggressive grower and produces such large leaves that the more nitrogen you can give it, the larger the plant is going to be and the healthier it's going to be as well. So it's a little obvious, but it's one that a lot of people just look at and think, oh, you're doing just fine. I don't need to give you more fertilizer. You seem like you're just fine. It's one that looks fine, but will look even better with some food. This is a rhubarb flower. And we don't want our rhubarb to be flowering, because if it does, it steals energy away from the plant as it's growing. So we need to remove them. It's no different than, let's say your garlic is starting to flower. You want to clip those flowers back to divert energy into creating larger bulbs. But for our rhubarb here, we don't want to grow larger bulbs because it doesn't grow bulbs, but what it does do is it does grow more foliage. It sends a signal back down to the plant to continue to grow because it's not focusing energy on producing seeds any longer. And so we need to clip them back. That's the first thing. But clipping them back correctly is the most important part, because it is really going to make a big difference on your overall plant health and plant vigor when you do it correctly. Now, as the rhubarb is starting to flower, it produces a stalk, and that stalk will have a leaf on it, and then the stalk will continue to grow. And as it continues to grow, the leaves that form will be smaller and smaller until you get to the very top where it almost looks like a little broccoli floret. Now, word on the street is these are actually edible. I've never tried them, but we'll harvest some and take them inside and try them later. And if you see a future video, you know that it was edible. If you don't try it. I'm joking, but I did hear that they were edible, but I'm gonna clip them and give them a shot. But when you clip them, you don't want to remove just this top stalk. A lot of gardeners make the mistake of removing this and leaving this leaf down below. Believe it or not, in order to actually fully stop that flowering enzyme from, that response, that enzyme that causes the flowering needs to actually be taken all the way back to the soil. So what we want to do is we want to come in completely right down to the ground and remove that entire flower stalk, because believe it or not, the crown of the asparagus also grows from a crown, but the crown of the rhubarb plant will actually still have that that chemical, right, that stimulant in its system. And if you remove it all the way back down, right like that, right down to the crown, if you can get some pink, that's even better. Take that right out, and that is going to encourage the crown to produce more new growth, and that new growth has less of a chance of flowering later. So we're going to take all these completely out right down to the soil level, rather than just picking off just the flower. Because if you pick off just the flower, it's going to be encouraged to send another flower shoot out somewhere lower, and you'll just be battling flower shoots almost your whole season, rather than focusing on beautiful rhubarb leaves like this. Tip 3, and this one is gonna actually blow your mind. This one blew my mind until I was talking to my grandpa, and he actually, before he passed, shared this tidbit of information with me that completely rocked my world. He said, harvest early, harvest often. And I asked him, I said, well, doesn't that, wouldn't that create smaller rhubarb? Like, wouldn't that be taking energy away? Because aren't they using their leaves as an energy source? He said, you're going to get smaller leaves, yes, but you're going to get 3 to 5 times more leaves because it actually encourages more growth. You see, the rhubarb plant, it would be totally satisfied with 10 or 15 really large elephant ear sized leaves. But if you remove and harvest early and harvest often, it actually sends a signal to continue to regrow, because plants that are damaged, and this makes a lot of sense, because what happens if you have a deer that munches your bean plant, or you have something that kind of tops your tomato or tops your pepper plant, it doesn't just stop growing. What it does is it sends a signal to actually continue to produce even more offshoots, even more growth. And that growth for the time being is going to be smaller, but you're going to get 3 or 4 times more growth from it, which actually was so incredible, because I just thought that would slow it down, but it actually speeds it up. It actually encourages more growth. And so now, it's very common for us to clip just what we need, which might be for a pie or some rhubarb crumble or something like that, which is really great, by the way. And we'll make that maybe once, maybe twice a year, but then we leave the rest for it to continue growing. But what we're failing to do is we're failing to send that signal down to the crown of the rhubarb plant to actually get it to continue to produce these beautiful large leaves that it always does produce. And so harvest early, harvest often. You might have smaller leaves, but you will be harvesting a lot more of them, which on the net is going to be more harvest than if you were to leave them to stay nice and big like this. And the 4th and final tip I got for you all, and this is a very basic one, but one that I think goes without saying: variety selection makes all the difference. You really do want to try different varieties, because if you don't try different varieties, there are certain varieties that are going to produce smaller leaves and less. You're going to have certain varieties that are very red stemmed, not like this McDonald. This McDonald rhubarb here has fairly green skin or green flesh, and then you get some of the pink right near the crown. So some are going to be more pink than green, or some more green than pink. Different varieties offer different traits, obviously. And some are more vigorous, and others are more showy and more ornamental. Like I said, this McDonald rhubarb that we have here, it's in our 4th year being in this bed. And we absolutely love it because it has a really mild flavor. It's not super aggressive, but it gives you that wonderful rhubarb flavor. And it tends to be more of a vigorous reseeder. So it likes to produce a lot of the seed stalks, whereas some of your other rhubarb varieties, some of your more heirloom varieties, like your Victoria rhubarb, for instance, is less likely to produce flower stalks, but it's also a lot more red. So you just got to do your research, find rhubarb varieties that will work for your area, that fit traits that you prefer, and that's ultimately going to give you better success overall, because some varieties just do better than others. And rather than try to fit a round peg into a square hole, just find something that is going to meet your criteria. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll catch you all later on the next episode. I'm gonna take this in and make some rhubarb crumble for dinner tonight. All right, catch you guys later. Grow bigger. See ya. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership, because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting MIgardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care.